Hi, welcome to the Get Ready with God podcast. My name is Julie Taylor and I am your host, and I am not God. Obviously, I'm not an expert. I'm not even a scriptorian. I'm literally just a girl sitting in front of a microphone, hoping God is real. The Get Ready with God podcast is the daily devotion podcast to help you see divinity in every day. And today I'd like to tell you to let your triggers be your guide. Let me explain. Last week we mentioned that a lot of us are on this path of paving a new path, blazing a new trail, living differently than the people around us, and living differently than the people that have come before us. We're creating a new way. We're living differently. And that can be really uncomfortable. And that requires a lot of sacrifice and a lot of discomfort and a lot of FOMO and all of these things. And that is why it is key that we are living in alignment with our own values. And our own values are always going to be changing. But one of the ways to get clear on your values is to notice what you're triggered by, to notice what things bring those insecurities to the surface, and to invite God into all of it, right? To make sure that we are choosing values that are actually aligned and not just what's popular, not just what's comfortable, not just what makes us look cooler and hotter. What do we actually value? How do we actually want to live? Because that actually will bring real peace. It might seem more fun in the moment to go with what's popular. I sound like I'm giving like a junior high schooler a pep talk before they go to a party. I know we all want to fit in and be cool, but the thing is that never goes away. So I see the temptation to fit in and be cool. There's a lot of pressure, and it is just really uncomfortable to do things differently than the people around us. So I think because of the amount of sacrifice and discomfort and confusion that can be involved in that, that's why it's really key to involve God in those conversations and in those choices, and to consistently be taking responsibility to figure out what our values are so that we can consistently stay flexible and aligning our life to live with those values. So one way to do all of this and to navigate all of this is to notice when our insecurities are triggered. And so when someone else tells you about their life choice, when you see a post from someone else and it makes you angry, or it makes you judgmental, or it makes you just, that feeling of whatever, this is a beautiful time. Rather than sitting in judgment of that other person, the reason that you're reacting that way is because it's teaching you something about yourself. An insecurity in yourself is triggered, or a value is coming to the surface. When our insecurities are triggered by someone else's choices or someone else's behaviors, use it as an opportunity to invite self-reflection and invite divinity in to really do some soul searching to see what it means. Because I promise you, it's much more about you than it is about them. Because most often other people's choices don't have a big impact on us. That's not always true. Sometimes they do. But when a friend chooses to leave religion or return to religion, that actually has very little impact on your life. But you are likely triggered by it one way or the other. When someone says they are going to have kids or they're not going to have kids, they're going to work or they're not going to work. Whatever these big life choices are, or small ones, when you have feelings on that, when you react to it, these reactions are actually your responsibility to manage. Your triggers are your own responsibility to manage and to navigate. It's good for us to be sensitive and to try to do our best to be decent humans who are thoughtful and compassionate toward other people. But at the end of the day, your triggers are your own responsibility, but they're also teaching you something. So as we try to get the courage up to live differently than the people around us and to live in accordance with our values, as we get clear on what those are, it is key that when we are triggered, we are introspective. And we use it as an opportunity to reflect on ourselves and what we think and what we believe and what this means for us, rather than turn that judgment on the other person. They get to live their life. They get to make their choices. And so do you. And so do I. Recently, someone close to me left religion. And I have left religion twice. So you'd think that I wouldn't be triggered by that. But it tormented me for like weeks. I'm very supportive of people taking the path that they need to take. But I do think that there are some people that we look to that we think are the same as us. Because it is so uncomfortable, right? Like prioritizing our life differently than the people around us and differently than popular culture is so uncomfortable. And so sometimes I think we'll look to like safety people. And we'll just say like, well, as long as they are choosing the same as me, as long as they're the same as me, I'm okay. It's so dangerous. It's so human and so natural, but it's so dangerous because if our values and our choices are based on other people choosing or not choosing the same as us, they're not strong enough to stand on when circumstances shift. We have to get so confident in our own values that other people's choices don't threaten them. That is so much easier said than done, and it requires a lot of work. But that's why it's actually really exciting for me when I can see an insecurity triggered. Last week, I felt really judgmental towards some friends. And so I called a different friend and I just said, man, these people's choices are triggering me. I feel so judgmental about it. And I know this is a me problem. So can you help me talk through it? Can you help me understand why I'm having this reaction to these people's choices? Because these people's choices don't affect me. They have every right to make those decisions. And by the way, they're fine choices. They're not even doing anything wrong, but they were triggering me in a way that I was feeling threatened. I was feeling insecure. I was feeling deeply judgmental about these choices. And as I talked with a friend, we kind of got to the bottom of just, I have shifting values right now, and I'm getting to a place where I'm valuing some different things than some of the people around me. And it's not better or worse. It's just different. And I am working hard to gain confidence in the values that I'm choosing, but it is still new for me and it's really uncomfortable. And there is a lot of FOMO and discomfort and growing pains in all of this, always. But I was so grateful that I was so triggered by these people's choices because it helped me do the value work of this is why I'm reacting that way. This is for me to process. Again, their choices are not wrong and they don't have a responsibility to make me comfortable with their choices. But I was able to use that trigger to do some deep work to understand and to see and to bring to surface some values that I have that are shifting. And it's uncomfortable and I don't like it. But I'm working to gain the confidence. I'm practicing. I'm showing up in the discomfort because I know that living a value-aligned life is actually what brings peace. And when I am betraying myself to try to align with different people's values and to fit in and to keep up, I'm actually really unhappy and I'm torn up inside because it is a betrayal of self and it's a betrayal of what I feel God is guiding me to do and the choices God is guiding me to make. And so as uncomfortable as it is to have shifting values, as uncomfortable as it is to have your insecurities triggered and brought to the surface, it's really, really exciting. And it's a huge invitation to do the internal work, to get yourself to a clear and confident place where you're living in alignment with your God-guided values. And that is a peace that is untouchable. So as uncomfortable as it can feel, as soon as you start practicing it and as soon as you start prioritizing it and as soon as you start protecting it, you'll start to see that inner alignment that clicks into place and that confidence that grows. And so when you go to bed at night, you can think, man, a lot of this is uncomfortable, but I know that I did what I was supposed to do today. And I know I was where I was supposed to be today. We can't hang our hat on other people's choices. We can't find peace through other people's choices. We can't find peace through circumstance. It's got to be inner aligned. It's got to be God guided. Let your triggers be your guide. Let that uncomfortable insecurity and judgment that comes up teach you something about yourself, and then shift your priorities accordingly and enjoy that clicked in divine alignment. It's possible. Love you. Bye.